Welcome to the channel Nursing in Handy. This channel is preferably for the nursing fraternities to have a continuous learning in their profession. So today we will be seeing about problem employees, disciplinary proceedings, enquiry. So when we consider about this topic, as a nurse manager, when we are recruiting any of the employees to the institution, means we will see that those employees whom I am going to recruit should fulfill the criteria of the institution, and also that employee should abide the rules of the institution that is being laid out. And in the same way, we will see that all the employees who is working in the institution has to work for the accomplishment of the goals of the organization, and also to fulfill all the criteria that is being laid by the institution. For example, I am the head of the institution. For example, I am the principal of the institution. So my aim is to motivate the employees, and also the employees should work for the welfare of the students and the welfare of the institution, and their main aim is to complete the task that is being stipulated by the higher authority in the institution. So that is only the common behavior that is taking place in the any teaching institution or organization. But sometimes, due to varied reasons, there will be a indisciplined characteristics in any of the employees. So we cannot expect all the employees to have a same characteristics or same behavior, isn't it? So each and every individual possesses a different characteristics, different qualities, and some will understand the concept very easily and some will take a time. So there are some employees who may end up with the indisciplinary actions. So according to the behavior of the employees, we will take the actions towards them. So how we are going to handle those problemed employees, we will see in detail. A problem employee is someone who consistently acts in a way that is not beneficial to the company. It is someone who fails on a daily basis to look for ways to maximize their performance to help the company. Workers who need behavior modification and attitude adjustment. We'll consider about the teaching institution. So I am recruiting any of the staff. I am telling those staff to complete a particular topic, means that staff will complete that topic because I have assigned some work that staff will do whatever the institution tells them. But sometimes if that employee is indisciplined, is not going to follow the rules and regulations of the head of the institution, then what that person will do is that person will not complete that particular topic. So that is in simple term known as problem employee. So definition: indiscipline, it is a lack of control in the behavior of a person or control of a group of people. That resembles they will fail to obey the rules and regulations or orders. The definition by Jogendravati. So indiscipline means any individual or a group of people who fail to abide the rules and regulations laid by the institution is known as indiscipline. So that indisciplinary characteristics is due to varied reasons. We will see one by one in detail in the forthcoming slides. So mainly the indiscipline arouses due to the personal issues or the inadequate supervision, like that. Next is causes of indiscipline. So lack of awareness of organizational rules and regulations. So once we are recruiting the individuals, we have to tell all the rules and regulations of the institution. If we fail to do that, what happens? That particular employee will not know what is right and what is wrong. So incorrect philosophy of discipline, lack of well-defined code and conduct, absence of any procedure to handle grievances, improper attitude towards employee problems, false promises made by a superior. So sometimes what happens, if I am the superior, I am getting the work done by my subordinates. So I am giving some promises to them, like I will be giving a performance appraisal to them. So after the work is being over, I am not giving any performance appraisal. That person who worked for me, that person will possess a lack of confidence, and that will end up into the indisciplinary behavior in that individual. So when as a superior, when I am going to give a false promises to my subordinates, that will also causes indiscipline in the institution. And in the same way, when they are being recruiting, as the oral order and as well as in the written order, we have to tell all the rules and regulations to them in order to avoid the indisciplinary behavior of the employees. Next is favoritism, poor defined employees' expectations, inappropriate supervision, a communication barrier, that is it gives a low morale and motivation among staff, poor employee selection and orientation, poor selected and trained supervision, personal frustration and misunderstanding. Sometimes what happens, that individual who is working for the upliftment of the organization, they will be having various personal issues. That personal issues will be carried as a baggage to the workplace, and they will omit all the works that has been assigned to them in the workplaces. So that is also one of the reason, that is personal frustration is also one of the reason to cause indiscipline in the workplace. And in the same way, inappropriate supervision. If we have a proper supervision only, all the employees will work properly. If we possess a lack of supervision, that will end up with the indisciplinary action, the behaviors. Next is consequences and symptoms of indiscipline. So the indiscipline can lead to inefficiency on the part of the employees, unhealthy and unsafe work environment. That means that that employee will be thinking that at any time that institution is going to bombard me out of the organization. Next is change in behavior and misbehavior, inconsistent behavior and unsafe behavior. That means it is going to create a harmful working environment to the other employees. Next is disturb the peace and lead negligence towards duties. For example, I am going on telling them the task of that particular day, like you have to complete the lesson plan, you have to complete the unit plan, like that. If I am telling no, sometimes what happens, due to this negligence, they will knowingly they will neglect the duties that is being assigned by the head of the authorities. So that is also one of the reason for indiscipline, and this also causes a inefficient in the part of employees. So if they are withdrawing from their work, means what happens, they will develop a negative attitude towards the organization as well as the work that is being assigning to them. That means they will develop a negative attitude towards the other employees and institution, unhealthy and unsafe working environment for themselves as well as the other peer workers. Next is they will do a misbehavior, like what and all is not considered as a normal behavior in the organization, that behavior and all they will do it in the workplace. So next is they will have a inconsistent, that is we cannot predict their behavior, whether they are happy, whether they are sad, whether they are judgmental, like that we cannot predict their behavior. That is known as inconsistent behavior. All the time they will have a different kinds of behavior each and every time and place. Next is unsafe behavior, that is going to create a harmful working environment for the individual as well as the persons who is working in the workplace. And in the same way they are going to disturb the peace of the employers. Next is problem employee. How the problem employee will be? A problem employee is someone who consistently acts in a way that is not beneficial to the company. It is someone who fails on a daily basis to look for ways to maximize their performance to help the company. So it means that the employee, a problem employee means someone who is not going to work for the upliftment of the institution, and their main motive is not to complete any task or not to accomplish any goal of the institution. Like that they will fail in their daily basis. So daily day-to-day routine activities will get affected due to this indisciplinary behavior in the individual. So only what happens, what and all we are giving as a task, what and all we are giving as a work, they will not complete it properly, and they will also blame on others for not doing the work. For example, that problem employee is not completed their own work, but they will have to they will blame on others regarding this negligence and discrepancy, everything. So that is known as a problem employee in the institution. A characteristics of problem employee. First is poor job performance, that is employee's work doesn't up to the expectation of the leader, doesn't work well with others. That means they will not work with other co-workers, they will not give a collaborative care to the patients, as well as if it is a teaching institution, they will not collaborate with others and work. For example, in a teaching institution we have different departments. In a class, different department personnel will come and take the classes. So what happens, they will not get collaborated with others or contribute on others, and they will not work for the welfare of the students. Next is not responsive to coaching or feedback. For example, if I am teaching in the class, the students are telling me a negative feedback like I am not understanding, ma'am, means what I will do is again I will repeat the particular concept in order to make the students to understand. But what happens, even if they are telling like a negative feedback, or they are telling that if it is not understandable, still we as a problem employee will not bother on that. Their main intention is to complete the work and also wind up the classes. They will not do for the welfare of the students. That is a characteristics of problem employee. One is poor job performance. They will not perform in their job properly, that is up to the expectation of the institution. They will not work. For example, today they have to do this work, means they will not complete. They will do a dragging procedure in their workplace. And also they will not do a collaborative works with other members like co-workers, patients, like relations of the patients, like that. They will not work along with that persons, and they will not mingle with them and do a comprehensive nursing care. Next is not responsive to the coaching or feedback. They will not act according to the feedback of the students, or if it is a hospital, means they will not work according to the need of the patient. For example, the patient is telling like I have pain in my knee, so I will not, as a problem employee, what he or she will do is he or she will not bother on whatever the signs and symptoms they are telling. That is known as characteristics of problem employee. Next is resistant to change. That means that they will refuse whatever the change has been taking place in the workplace. And next is lack the responsibility for their own action. For example, they have committed any mistake, but they will not accept that mistake that is being committed by the individual. They will always blame on others. For example, I have not completed the allotted hours of my subject, means, but I will not accept that I have not completed. I will blame on others, like they have not given me periods, they have not done any work, they have not mingled with me, like that. I will blame on others for my own fault. Next is negative attitude. Always they will be a pessimistic behavior they will have. Pessimistic means like always telling like I have not completed, I don't want to do it, I don't want to continue. Like they will not have any positive vibe. Always when we go and talk to them, that problem employees, no, they will always be chanting the words like it is not possible, not at all I can do it, like that. They will have a negative attitude towards the institution. So however, the head of the institution will always think that their employees has to work for the upliftment of the institution as well as the management. But whereas the problem employees will not work like that. They will always have this kind of discrepancy, inadequacy in their work, and in the same way they will also develop a inefficiency in their skills, like either it is theoretical skills or practical skills. So when we consider about this, no, we can give and quote an example for both clinical aspects as well as the educational aspects. Next is poor work ethics. So every profession have a code of ethics. So ethical principle we have to follow each and in every professions, and that too in the nursing professions definitely we have to follow it. So what happens, these problem employees will not bother about the ethics of their profession. Next is arrogance. They will have a very arrogant behavior. So whatever we are telling to them, like complete the task, means they will be very arrogant, and also they will have an attitude as if they know everything. If I am telling something, no, like they will say yes, I know that, I know everything, you don't have to tell me, you don't have to teach me, like that. They will give a negative attitude, and they will have show arrogance in the words. Next is ineffective communication skills. So they have both ineffective communication skills as well as the ineffective listening skills. They are not ready to listen to others, and also they will not communicate properly to the other members of the workplace. Next is skills don't match the job. So they lack the skills, that is either theoretical skills or practical skills. All the time they are in the motive is to escape from the work or escape from the task that has been assigned by the head of the institution. But their main aim is to relieve from that work, not to do any work, and also project always a negative attitude towards other superiors, subordinates, or any other peer workers, like that. they will have both ineffective communication skill and listening skills. Next is dealing with disciplinary problems. So as the head of the institution, how I am going to deal with this kind of persons in my workplace, because as the head of institution or the recruiter, I will think that whoever I am just recruiting into my institution, that employee has to work for the acceleration of my institution or the upliftment of my institution. But whereas sometimes due to varied reasons, the employees are having the indisciplined behavior, means we have to take necessary actions towards that, so that a major complications or major fault can be prevented in the earlier stage itself. That is a proverb, no, like prevention is better than cure. Like that, we can prevent the major failures that is going to that may going to happen in the future. So like proper documentations can be dealing with the proper documentation. Sometimes they will do a omission of the works, like that everything can be scrutinized properly. Careful watching should be done on the employees who is going to be the problematic for the institution. And also we have to do a proper follow up process each and every time of that problemed employees, because among the 5 or 10 members we know, like this member is going to be the problematic persons, that person is going to be the indisciplined persons, we know. So based on that we have to take necessary actions. Next is disciplinary conferences. For example, no, like we can give them criticism regarding their works for not completing the task, like that. Next is disciplinary letter. So one is disciplinary conference is like giving the oral reprimands. Next is disciplinary letter, means we are going to give the written reprimands to the individuals, like block the perception of the painful feedback or a manager's viewpoint. Everything can be given as a documentation, like this person has committed this mistake, for this mistake I have given this penalty, like that I can tell. Next is model standing orders. And next is errors in disciplining employees. So what happens once I am encountering any indisciplinary actions in the employees, means as soon as possible we have to correct them. So in pediatric aspects also we say, no, like if we don't want to give, means we have to practice a term known as no in the children. In the same way, when we are working in the workplace, whether it is a healthcare institution or educational institution, whatever it is, once we are encountering any indisciplinary actions or violation of the rules and regulations by the employee, then and there we have to punish them either by the oral reprimands or the written reprimands or any minor or major penalties like transfer of them or suspension or dismiss, like that we can do it. So and also like a sweetened disciplined administration should not be there. Like for example, they have committed very big mistake. For that, if you are using a sugar coated words, means it won't work out for that employees who is very problematic to the institution. And the same way, principles of disciplinary actions is always have a positive attitude, investigate carefully. For example, the two groups are having some issues, means you have to listen to the words of both the parties, then only we have to take necessary actions towards them, whether it is right or wrong, like that we have to see, and proper feedback has to be rendered. Next is be prompt, protect the privacy of the individual. So once we are coming out with any secrets of the individual, or they have committed any mistake on the institution, means you as a nurse manager, we should not go and spread those newses to everyone. So we have to maintain the confidentiality and privacy of the employee. Next is focus on the act, enforce rules consistently, be flexible, advise the employee, take a correct and consistent action, and do a proper follow-up. So once I am encountering the problem of the employee, that employee is telling me like okay ma'am, just kindly apologize me, I will not repeat this mistake again. So after that, we should not leave it like that itself. We have to do a proper follow-up, like whether he is continuing that mistake or not, or whether he is coming out of that mistake, either he is repelling for that mistake or not, either he is really regretting for that mistake or not, like that we have to see and do a proper follow-up. Next is have a positive attitude. So each and every thing is being explained in detail about have a positive attitude, investigate carefully. So have a positive attitude means always maintain a positive attitude towards the superiors or subordinates, and investigate carefully. I have said no, is any disciplinary action has to be taken means before we have to listen to the stories of both the parties, whether who started first, what is the problem actually, who is reporting the allegation on other person, like that. And next is be prompt. So you have to be very clear about whatever the punishment you are going to give and what are the stories you are going to listen from the employee. So we have to be very prompt. Next is protect the privacy. So whatever the reason is, whatever the fault is, we have to maintain the confidentiality and privacy of the employees regarding their shortcomings. That means you have to prevent the criticism from the other employees. So once we are spreading these reprimands or penalties to others, no, like this employee has committed this mistake, that employee has committed this mistake, what happens, that becomes as a egocentric behavior in the individual in the workplace. Next is focus on the act, enforce the rules consistently and be flexible. Next is advise the employee regarding their shortcomings for reducing these allegations and preventing any negative behavior towards the institution. Next is take a corrective and consistent action. Like we have to consistently take, as soon as we are encountering any problem, we have to take the actions. You should not wait for the good type to come and all. Next is do a proper follow up. So next is a components of a disciplinary action program. So first we have to follow a code of conduct, that is we have to explain them regarding the code of ethics of the profession. So once we are recruiting them into the profession, we have to tell them orally as well as in the written form what are the rules and regulations. If you abide, you have to abide the rules that is been laid by the head of institution, and these all are the vision, mission, everything has to be said in either oral and written form. Next is authorized penalties. So each and every institution have authorized penalties, like doing a transfer of the persons or suspension of the persons or getting the fine from the persons, like that. Based on the authorized penalties, we can proceed with the employees for the indisciplinary actions. Next is transfer of the employees or dismissal of the employees. So we have seen the code of conduct in detail, that is each and every disciplinary action has been seen in the detail. So code of conduct means like every profession have their own code of ethics, no, like non-maleficence, beneficence, justice, autonomy, veracity, fidelity, like that. Each and every profession have their own code of conduct, and that employee has to follow that, and that has to be intimated by the institution during the recruitment. Next is authorized penalties. Like what all penalties we can do is, like punishment is otherwise known as the penalties. Like either we can give oral reprimands or written reprimands. Without any bias, we are going to give the authorized penalties. So types of penalties are like, first is oral reprimands, written reprimands and other penalties. So oral reprimand is once we are encountering any incident regarding the inappropriate conduct or behavior, then what happens is we have to rectify this by giving a oral warning. Next is written reprimand, means we are going to give them in the written form that what misbehavior they have been conducted, what are the shortcomings they have to face it. So that will be intimated to that particular employee in the written form. So they have to read it and they have to accept it and they have to undergo the consequences that is being laid up by the institution. Whether what consequences they are telling, like dismissal or transfer or any penalties, like that. Based on that, they have to act accordingly. Next is, so other penalties has been classified into minor penalties and major penalties. So major penalties like demotion, dismission, transfer, discharge or withholding the increment. That means for a company they will be having that increment, no, so they can withhold that increment so that the employees will come to know the proper rules and regulations in their workplace. Next is minor penalties, that is oral warning will be given, written warning will be given, fines can be collected and loss of privileges can be done. So these are the minor penalties in the indisciplinary action if they are being taking place in the workplace. So first is no formal charge sheet to be issued, that is only a oral warning will be given. No need of regular enquiry officers to be appointed. So next we'll go for the role of nurse administrator in maintaining discipline. So first is make expectation clear to subordinates. So once as a superior, we have to teach each and every subordinate regarding the rules and regulations that is been laid by the institution. Develop a positive attitude towards the employees. Treat them as a mature people. Have a trust in your staff and accept their potential. Spend time with them and have a meeting with them. So only in every institution or organization we have a periodical meeting regarding their performances and everything. And in the same way, like we have to move in our workplace in a very friendly manner and also have a optimistic working environment in order to promote the workplace and also to complete the or accomplish the goals or tasks that has been stipulated by the institution. So far we have seen about the problem employees in discipline and how we have to take the action against them in the disciplinary actions. So the most common tendency to blame others for problems that we could never blame for ourselves for can lead managers to assume that they are managing difficult employers and the employees to assume they are being led by difficult people. So each and every when they are in that particular position only, they will come to know how hot that particular seat is. So we have that problem, no? In the same way, we have to work wherever we are working, whether it is an educational or healthcare institution. Our main aim is to work for the beneficiary of the participants, and also like we have to work for the accomplishment of the goals, and also we have to complete all the tasks that is being stipulated for us. So if you have any doubt, kindly drop down in the comment box, and you can just suggest me any other videos for the forthcoming sessions. Kindly like it, share it and subscribe it. Thank you for watching.